Namaste. This is Yoga Therapy Podcast, and I'm your host, Shira, yoga teacher, yoga therapist, and Ayurvedic wellness educator. In these conversations with experts in the field of yoga therapy, you'll find out what it is and how it can help you and your loved ones to reclaim well-being. We'll touch on physical as well as mental health, physiology, emotions, women's health, spiritual well-being, goddesses, and self-development in the fullest sense. Listening to another story can change ours, so thank you for showing up, and let's begin this journey together. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm finally back. It feels like a very long time because I haven't done podcasts for ages. And so today we're joined by this lovely woman called Berenice Miles. She is a certified yoga teacher and yoga therapist. She is very passionate about yoga in every sense. Like if you look at her website, it's her life basically. So I understand completely where she's coming from. And she's working especially with yoga therapy for mental and emotional health. So welcome, Bernice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shira. Thank you for hosting me. I'm so happy and grateful to be here.
Yes, and I screwed up. So Bernice is a very patient woman. I was meant to be here an hour ago, and she was like, "That's all right. We'll just reschedule." So I'm very grateful. Thank you. So tell us about you, about your yoga story, how yoga helped you. So I read that it helped you from your PTSD, your anxiety, high stress and depression, and even eating disorders. So I would love to hear your story. Sounds very important.
My yoga story is very funny because I hated yoga. There was no way in the past that I would ever go to a yoga class. So at that time, it was probably 2014. I was living in Sweden and I was struggling with the last bits of my eating disorder. So orthorexia, which means like having a very controlled way of eating for those who don't know, and also over exercising. And I was very much in the control. I was very stiff mentally, physically, and emotionally, and there was no place for spirituality whatsoever. However, I hit rock bottom, and that's when I felt that something had to shift if I really wanted to get better. So I stopped running, and I was like addicted to running. I was running every day. And as an addict, when I stopped running, it was like quitting smoking, I was just overwhelmed and stressed out and so many emotions I couldn't handle. And I remember what my friends said, in Sweden, they practice a lot of yoga. They just told me, well, you should go and try yoga. So I followed the advice and I thought I would die. It was an hour and a half of what they called medi yoga. So a very slow, gentle yoga that is almost like torture, exactly. And the funny story is that during this hour and a half, I had the monkey mind, like the racing thoughts, the talk. And it was saying like, yeah, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to leave soon, and I was just staying for respect for the teacher. Yeah, just one more pose and then I'm out of here. And at one point, the teacher said something, and maybe right now your thoughts are overwhelming and you're thinking that you don't want to be here. You want to get away. And that was spooky. I was like, oh my God, she's a mind reader. So first experience, after which I promised myself I would never, ever go back again. And I don't know what happened, but something brought me back on the yoga mat, some curiosity. I would say that my soul was called on the yoga mat and the rest just followed. Then I started to practice more and more. And I was just like digging more and more in recovery from eating disorders and developing this spiritual side. And I was just like asking for a sign because my old life was not fitting with me anymore. My job didn't fulfill me. I didn't find connection with my friends at that time anymore. I just felt an emptiness and a call for something else, but I didn't know why. I was in a transition phase and that was hard. And my yoga teacher told me like, okay, what's your plan, with life? And I was like, I don't know. I lost my job because my company went bankrupt. So they
Oh,
had to let me go, which was, like unfortunately, fortunately, a good thing
yeah.
in
In
the end.
hindsight, yeah.
Exactly, because I was working in IT. And I was just bored. I was tired of it. And I just told my teacher, listen, I want to leave Sweden because I cannot do it with the darkness and stuff. And I just need to change. And she said, well, just go to India, do a yoga teacher training course. I see you practicing, you're great at it. And my first answer, of course, was no. No way.
It's like, yeah, yeah.
Are you kidding? And like all the stereotypes. I'm a young lady, I'm going to India, they're going to attack me, like all of that, of course.
I
And
think
she
it's one of
was
the safest places to travel as a single woman. I've never had a
actually,
problem there, and I've been there over 2.5 years, like in all. I've never been harassed in India.
yeah, same. I never had any issues and I really respect
Mm.
them. I love these people. They're just
Yeah,
amazing and so
yeah,
kind and so welcoming.
yeah.
So I ended up in India and without the intention to become a yoga teacher, just to deepen my practice. And I was supposed to stay 2 months and I ended up staying 6 months in total. And when I came back to Europe, I started to teach with the willingness to bring yoga to something more. I wanted to heal people, to help people with yoga.
Mm.
So that's why I enrolled for a yoga therapy course in London, a great
Mm.
course. And then that's how the yoga therapy journey also started. So it was very eventful recent years, but I'm so grateful for the path. And yeah, it was just amazing. And yes, yoga is my passion, and I love it. And I
Mm.
cannot imagine life without it. And now, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same for everyone. We can't imagine living without it. There are months, sometimes I've practiced for 31 years now, and there are times where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to get on the mat, or I don't want to do my meditation, and sometimes I don't do it. And then the practice is being okay with not doing it. But most of the time, I just keep going, and it's so rewarding to do it anyway. Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to go back to something you said about how it organically transitioned for you by the sounds of things. And because of your background, it's obvious you wanted to go into more of the healing. Did you notice straight away after that first yoga class that it was already affecting you mentally, or that it was giving you some kind of grasp or tools that you wouldn't have had otherwise, like when you were coming out of this last bits of your eating disorder?
Yeah, I would say that I really saw results after 3 months. And
Wow.
at the same time, I started to meditate. And meditation was a big thing for me because I started to realize that I was not my thoughts and what was happening in my mind was just crazy, but it was not reality.
Mm.
And with yoga, slowly, gradually, I started to reconnect to my body, which was something that had never happened before because with eating disorders, you're living in your mind 99% of the time. And yoga just brought me back to my body. And that was a painful, but also very humbling and beautiful experience.
Yeah, it's like you find home inside your body,
Yeah,
finally. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
instead of disassociation. Yeah. So, why do you think that yoga is so effective in helping you overcome this eating disorder, and I imagine a lot of other things that were underlying this issue?
Well, union, the meaning of yoga, it's just unifying the
Mm-hmm.
person wholly, taking the body, the emotions, the mind, the soul,
Mm-hmm.
and really making it one. So as you said, it feels like coming back home.
Mm-hmm.
And yoga has helped me in so many ways. I'm trying to remember all now to have a list in my mind. But first, it brought me ahimsa, this non-violence, non-harming, this compassion, because I was so harsh on myself. And I don't know, like for people who've never had eating disorders, they cannot know, but we say that there's an eating disorder voice that is really harsh, very judging, very criticizing, always bringing you down, and yoga started to lessen that voice, and that was just a miracle.
It's interesting. You can remember it. I don't remember it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that aspect. But I do remember, yeah, it's like you're beating yourself up constantly.
Exactly. And also yoga, well, got me out of anxiety. And for someone who was living in fight or flight all the time and who thought that stress was just energy or like dynamism, it was hard, but yoga calmed me down, and I saw the results, in my mental health, in my focus, in my concentration, in feeling grounded later on, and all of that. So yoga is really like a base for me. And what else? It brought me a sense of community as well, sense of belonging, because I reconnected to myself. I could also reconnect with others in a healthy way.
Yeah. So it's new relationships. We were at relationships.
Yes.
Having healthy relationships. So
yeah, healthy relationships and a sense of community, because even if you don't talk to the people who are in the room, we are practicing the same thing, and there's a sense of respect and safety, and that's very valuable and precious.
Yeah, I think that's one discovery I've made becoming a mother, and then with my burnout and trying to understand what are we all doing here? And the most important thing is relating, being a social species, loving, interconnecting, having intimacy and sharing experiences. That is what it all boils down to eventually. And if our relationship to self isn't healthy, then life isn't fun or easy. It's just very difficult and complex, because everything is disconnected. So we don't feel safe anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that's one big lesson also from COVID, that we are very social species, and we really love and need and yearn for each other's connection and presence in the physical sense, not via screen, which is also very nice because now I get to meet you, but it's a different thing. Yeah, so wonderful. It sounds like a beautiful story. And tell us about your training in England. Which school did you study with?
So I studied with Heather Mason, the founder of the Minded Institute, and she's been running it, I think, for maybe 10 years or something. Well, I don't want to say something wrong, so check the website out. But it's been recently accredited by IAYT, and it's a very serious and beautiful foundation.
Okay, great.
And I'm so grateful for the training. It was 2 years, well, a bit more than 2 years, because then we had the thesis to write, the case studies, and also COVID hit, so we had to move everything online, etc. But it's a very rewarding path, and I'm still, integrating bits of it, because I feel I haven't had time yet to really soak everything in.
No, I know. Very rich. I felt the same.
Yeah.
I felt the same. I did my training, or I finished the training in 2018, the second one. And there was just so much information, and you can only take in so much at a time. And then it just takes years to let it sink in and digest it and apply it and try it out and adapt it. And yeah.
And I feel it's also, like yoga therapy is so wide, then it's a matter of choosing what you want to really specialize in. And for example, that's funny, but almost all my new clients, they're suffering from anxiety, so it feels like I've been through anxiety myself. So maybe they're drawn to me. So
of course, you attract who you can work with, who you can help and affect. Definitely. Yeah, I believe that. It's also funny, I see that just in my teaching classes, but also as a therapist, that the clients change according to as you grow, as you deepen into the understanding and your practice and your own transformation, those are the people who come to you. And sometimes the people come to you and then you get that issue which they are having because you have to understand it better. So it's really therapy and me search instead of research and therapy. Yeah.
Love that. Me search, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and the English, I know they have really great yoga therapy schools. So a trainer I've been to a few times, Montserrat here in the Netherlands. She's been to Yoga Campus. I think that's in London. And
I've been in touch with her actually.
you've been
I was hesitating between London and the Netherlands, Amsterdam. So
yeah. She's also really good, and the basis of what she teaches is clinical, medical, but then of course we apply our own philosophy and the Ayurvedic perspective, which really helps to integrate it all. Yeah, so wonderful. So tell us, I read you're also writing a book and you want to self-publish by the end of this year. Yes? Why self-publish? Tell me. Do you have a plan?
Self-publish? Well, self-publish because it's easier, and I really wanted to make it accessible to as many people as possible. So price-wise, it's better to self-publish and to publish it on this big American company. So
this one. Yes, I know. That's why I'm resisting.
But it's been a bit delayed, yes. So hopefully next year.
Okay. Well, yes, a book is not easy. I've just finished writing my manuscript and now I'm looking for publishers, but I'm also hesitating. I don't want it to be changed too much and I want to have full control of the book. So I'm also thinking of self-publishing. And why do you think it's going to be easy, self-publishing? I don't get that idea at all.
Well, because as you said, of course you can always get it edited by someone, just to check it out and to help you formulate it better and so on. And you can also ask people to help you, to have a couple of readers as a beta readers and to ask them what they think and so on. But self-publishing, you have more control. You can also have, let's say it's a bigger margin. And I feel that you're free to market it your way. Maybe you want to market it in a certain way and not necessarily how big publishing companies do it. So it's, I feel you have more, I don't like to say control, but you can better handle the things. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure. I'm just a little freaked out about the whole process of distribution. But then, if you use Amazon, you're talking about Amazon, no?
Yeah, of course.
And that's one reason I don't want to do it. It's I hate this guy. Okay, but anyway.
But however, think of it this way. You can have a lower price and reach more people, I feel, on Amazon, because, for example, I made all the calculations. If I went through publishing companies and a real printer in the US and everything, the book would be at least $21 for me to have a little bit of margin, tiny little, so that, I pay myself a bit. Whereas if I will put it on Amazon, I can put it at least $9 or $8 less than that.
Wow. Yeah. And a bigger margin. Yeah. And what's your book going to be about? Tell us. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah, it's something very simple. It's called Yoga 100, and it's 100 tips and tricks for yoga beginners, complete beginners. And, it's the pretty, the ugly, the good, the bad, everything about yoga, what we say, what we don't say. And also the things I wish I had known myself when I started yoga, how to
alignment and all that. Yeah.
All of that, and simple things such as the equipment and what classes to choose, because there are so many styles of yoga, and when you're set, you're a bit overwhelmed. So, and the the vocabulary, what chakra means and all of that. So yeah.
Well, that's great. I really like that idea. And it's good that you're busting the myths because there's way too many.
Yes.
Yeah. All these people abusing power because they've made up all these silly stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel it can be intimidating when you start yoga, to have all these people knowing more than you and not really knowing where to look for information, not knowing where to start.
Mm.
And it can just keep people away from yoga. And I want
Yeah.
more people to practice yoga and to let them know that it's simple and easy, and you don't need to know all the colors of the chakras or all the Sanskrit words, to be a good practitioner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah.
I like that idea. I'm happy you're writing this book. So, okay. So tell us, how do you work? What is your passion in your work? When you work with anxiety, how do you help your clients? What do you focus on, or what do you think is an important principle?
Well, first is to meet them where they are, because each person is different, and each yoga therapy session or private session is never the same. And what I like is just to get to know what they want, because it's not my session, it's their session, so we're just co-creating.
Mm-hmm.
And I am naturally someone who helps people to feel calm. Still, since I'm a kid, I'm quiet, and I remember my family members always saying, "Oh, it's so calm to be with you."
Oh, nice. What a good thing to have. Yes.
So that's my gift. So on the yoga mat, I love to bring this calm to them, and just to help them, to equip them with simple tools that they can apply in their daily life, to help them ground themselves and to feel calmer, to regulate their nervous system, and also to teach them how to do, because once they understand their nervous system, how it works, when they're aware of their mechanism, they have more power to really handle themselves. It's empowering, it's rewarding, it's calming them.
Yep.
And my biggest gratitude is when, like recently I had one client, and after 6 sessions I asked him, "So how is your stress level? Like, how do you feel?" And he replied, "What stress? I don't even remember what stress is." I was like,
Wow.
"Are you joking?" And we started with someone who is working 10 hours a day in London in the banking industry, who's in front of his screen nonstop, who doesn't have any break, and who was running like 10 kilometers every day and running on fight or flight all the time. So, well, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very powerful stuff. Yeah, and I agree with what you said. It's one of my favorite things is also to teach the people what is going on in their system, and that you actually have a say over it. And that's why the breathing is so important, and the body and the posture, because we have autonomy over that part of our body. We can actually control it. Like you say, it's not the best word, but that gives us a sense of agency. And therefore, we are not just victims or powerless to our situation and states. Yeah. So I also agree that it's so important to help people understand why we're doing it, not just what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to teach us one of these practices? Something that you'd like to share for calming people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna breathe. So
Yeah.
make sure you're sitting comfortably and having your spine aligned, making sure that your pelvis, your heart, your head are in one line. And perhaps your feet are touching the ground, or you're sitting cross-legged. And relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. And maybe bringing your shoulder blades slightly together to open your chest a bit more, to allow the breath to flow. Tuck your chin a little bit to elongate your spine. And if you wish, you can close your eyes, or you can keep a soft gaze. And relaxing the muscles of your face, relaxing the skin around your eyes. Relax your jaw, softening your belly. And just start to connect with your breath without changing anything, without controlling. Just breathing naturally. Feeling the gentle inhale, the air getting through your nose, in your chest, and maybe down to your belly. And feeling the exhale, the air pumped out of your belly through your chest and out of your nostrils. And just focusing on your breath. Next, I invite you to inhale on the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and to exhale on the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And keep on counting and breathing for a little while. And when you are ready, just bringing your consciousness back to the environment around you, to your body, sitting on a chair or on the floor, and slowly bring movements back to your body. So perhaps wiggling your toes, your fingers, rolling your shoulders, moving your head side to side, anything that feels good to wake up your body with gentleness.
Thank you. Your voice is very calming. Very sweet. And the way you word things is very like, yeah, it's everything's okay. It's very nice. Thank you.
Everything is okay, right?
Yes, but how often do we remember?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Is there something you'd like to share? Something you still feel we haven't talked about that you find important about yoga therapy or yoga?
I think I'm complete. I'm just
Okay.
grateful to have discovered the work of yoga therapy. You know, I had no idea what it was a couple of years ago. And I feel really grateful today to share it with people. And I'm so happy that some people like you are spreading the word and making it more knowledgeable to the public so that we can help more people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I was just telling Bernice before that the clinic where I worked in, we had a patient who came in once who needed her arm amputated because she'd had an accident. And I thought, oh, this is actually a good thing to share here. And the reason she came to us was because she wasn't ready to amputate that arm, but it had lost all its life. So it was stone cold every time she came to us. So we would work on it in this clinic, and we would massage the arm, and we would get her doing yoga poses. We would be maybe 3 assistants to help hold her and stabilize her, and even get her into inversion so the blood would flow to the arm more fully, but with full support, and then acupuncture and gentle massage. And by the end of like half an hour, there would be blood flow. So the warmth would come back to the arm, the blood would flowing back into the arm. And so we extended that life for her arm for another 2 months until she was mentally prepared to lose that part of her body. So these are the kinds of things that yoga therapy can do, that we prevent trauma even for people in these kinds of cases. So I just want to give a quick shout out here to Manuela, because this clinic, I keep mentioning it in the talks, and I really want to say it has been the inspiration to my whole yoga therapy and even yoga journey. So Manuela Heider de Jensen, she had this clinic in Berlin called the Society of Friends, with 3 different rooms where we would work and first learn as long-term students. So I was a student for more than 7 years before I started practicing in the clinic. And we would get mentorship, first assisting and learning and watching and listening. And then after a while, we started to take on our own clients that fitted well with us. So yeah, Manuela, thank you for that. You're always in my heart. So Manuela herself is a yoga teacher, yoga therapist, Ayurvedic practitioner, acupuncturist, dietitian, masseur. So she had this immense tool belt of knowledge and tools that we could use during any given session. And yeah, she's definitely inspired me to be very giving and generous with knowledge. That's why, yeah, I do what I do, I think, because of her example. So thank you, Manuela. So let's get back to the show. It's just that we work with the physiology in yoga therapy. We work a lot with the breath and regulating hormones and emotions, and therefore we can move life into areas where it might not go, or when we have this unconscious part of our body because we never bring awareness there. Just by bringing awareness there, something starts to shift. It doesn't have to be a good thing straight away. It's like what Berenice just said before, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes we have to sit with the ugly for the good to start to surface. And it's not easy, but it's possible. And there's always options. And I think that's the beautiful thing about yoga therapy, is there's many options, and we have like this huge buffet of tools that we can choose from and adapt according to the person and the situation and the needs and the abilities, time frame. Yeah. So lovely. I love doing these podcasts. I get so happy every time I hear, like, I heard your voice and I was like, oh God, I'm so, what do you call that? I'm so psyched up every time because I get so excited to talk to these people. And then I hear your gentle, soft voice and I'm like, I really need to slow down when I'm talking. No,
there's no need to be yourself. I mean,
yes, I know, but the comparison sometimes is very extreme. Okay, so would you like to leave the listeners with what you're doing, your work, where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on the YouTube if you want to practice with me. I share very easy, simple, short practices for people to practice daily. So YouTube, Berenice Miles. So Berenice and Miles, Miles. You can find me under the same name on Facebook, and I'm very happy to connect with you. I recently started a Facebook group, so it's to help women remain calm through life's transitions with yoga, mindfulness, meditations, and other self-care practices. So I'm happy to have you in the group if you want to share and be part of it.
Right.
And I'm not on Instagram.
Good for you. I just went on there. It's horrible. I hate it. It's so bad for mental health. It's terrible.
Yeah, I try to focus on, one thing at a time, and yeah, exactly. So and I feel a bit old for Instagram now. I'm like, it's for millennials.
How old are you? That's something.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn 30 in 2 months. So yeah,
You're not even 30. You feel too old.
So I'm just
I'm way too old.
Yeah, so Facebook, YouTube, not Instagram, and I work with people privately online. So feel free to drop me a message either on my website or Facebook or wherever you can find me. And that's pretty much what I do right now. So yeah.
Yeah, and keep your eyes and ears out for Berenice's book. It sounds great. We have to get used to promoting ourselves, however.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. So that's it for today. We'll say goodbye to our audience and listeners. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shira, for hosting this beautiful podcast and for everyone listening.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Bye. So thank you, everyone, for staying to the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. I really love doing these talks with these amazing people. And if you want to know more, just take a look in the show notes. There's plenty of links and ways to connect with either the guest or myself. If you want to work with us or find out more about us, just check out the information in the show notes. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend or week, and you'll be hearing from me next week. Bye.